Yeah, here. Oh, yeah, actually, we're good, huh? Yeah, so, he went away. Now, so.
It's just doing some funny auto zoom stuff that I can't make it stop.
Little movement,
Yeah, it won't stop doing it. But
not real.
I do it then. Yeah, it's just something mine.
It's still, it's attracted to the shine of my head.
My hat. That might be the issue with me too. So is this the new cameras he put in or? Not yet, no. Yeah, it's good. Here's live, yeah. That's what I can do.
I'd like to call this Village Soaks Point board meeting session. Let's stand to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, Deputy Mayor Ashnall,
Present.
Trustee Leon, Trustee Nowak,
Present.
Trustee Madison,
Here.
and I'd like to introduce Lord Dwight Tanya. And we'll be something for Amy tonight, and just wanted to
Same firm.
do it, yeah, same firm, do that, do the introduction. And let's start with the motion for approval of December 18th regular meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And anyone opposed? No. Start off with a mayor report, so a few things, still waiting word on the New York Forward grant. I should hear in sometime in January, so hopefully within a week or two. Attended a new leader meeting with Pam Helming and staff, discussed New York State Senate awards and recognitions and possible emergency service grants. Good to meet some other people in the same situation, and we kind of bounce things off one another. Signed up for a Wayne County emergency training session in March. I'm looking forward to going to. Trustee Leon let me know about a webinar through the Environmental Facilities Corporation. I will be doing a question and answer session tomorrow. The goal for them is to basically connect communities to state and federal funding for water infrastructure. And I found the website to be an interesting website, and I did a short training and a session in cybersecurity. And then I just wanted a little call out to the department heads and to the trustees that are in charge of, ambulance or fire, that we're gonna have, we want the budgeting items or wish list for the 2006, 2027 budget to be due by February 20th. That would throw a date out, and then you can just get information from your department head. And that will be a little bit of a basis, okay, as we move forward. I think we're thinking about a couple sessions in March, and obviously it won't be Monday because of the planning and zoning, but maybe we'll try to find something that's Tuesday night. Okay. That's it. So Deputy Mayor Ashnall.
Okay, planning and zoning report. There was not a whole lot of activity this month. So far, there were applications for area variances, to the planning board initially. At 7112 Hillside for, subdivision as well as for, construction of a one-family home on one of the subdivided lots. Those were sent up to, the zoning board with a yes recommendation by the planning board, and both of those passed the zoning board. The, area variances were granted. Both applications, one of the applications was technically two variances, but they were, granted by the zoning board. And I do not have anything to really report on docks and moorings. We do have an item that is will be discussed on that a little later on.
Okay. Thank you. Trustee Madison?
The fire department, there were 8 calls from mid-December to mid-January. These included things like tree problems, which we've seen several have come down. Hazardous conditions, a wire fire, and also EMS assists. Looking ahead, our fire department will be hosting a New York State Ice Water Rescue Class this weekend. I'm hoping the ice firms up a little bit more by then.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday, so there'll be a lot of people there. And 5 of our own guys, or people, I should say, are taking this class. Silver Waters ambulance, there were a total of 9 calls in December. 7 of those were billable. For the year 2023, the calendar year, there were a total of 133 calls for Silver Waters. Keith Egner, who's the director of the operations at Silver Waters, is now certified, and he said this last time, to do CPR training. So hopefully at some point they'll be scheduling some CPR classes. And the Silver Water ambulance themselves, it doesn't come out of our budget, but they have paid for new electronic mannequins, which will offer better feedback. That money comes from like the donations that have been made to Silver Waters, so anyway, tourism and youth, I don't have any report on that. And
There are gross revenue for Silver Waters for the year.
is there?
Yeah, I do have that.
I do not have that. And I should come up with that. I know there's been some discrepancies between what we have for village numbers here and what they have. Historically, I've heard there've been some discrepancies, and I really should try to get to the bottom of that. Part of it is there's a terrible lag time in getting some of the money back from these billable things. It takes, just takes a while. Longer than you think.
It takes a while for us to find out how much you're actually getting back, or just to get it back.
To get it. Yeah, to
So
get
we,
it.
would it be too much to ask if we get a monthly revenue, like we have the billable, non-billable, but they will give us monthly billables?
I actually do have that from, I don't have it with me tonight, but yeah. Yeah. You can have it.
I've asked John when he's done it on this one to give us our monthly water usage, and we can start comparing year over year, month over month.
Yes, yeah.
Give us some benchmarks. Thank you.
And that's it for my report.
Okay, trustee Noah?
As far as, the highway. John's gonna be talking too, but I mean, we had, a lot of snow.
Yeah.
Obviously, and that tree's falling down. There's other few calls that John's addressed, that we weren't there right on time plowing, and they went out and they did sidewalks. And that's what we'll talk about tonight.
Yeah.
John's got a full board on highway and water and sewer.
So moving forward, we had this, historically, each liaison would read the report, but John's doing such a good job, and he's actually
Yeah.
the reports without.
And I'm fine with John.
I'm okay, and you just defer, if you don't, just defer them, that's
Yeah,
fine.
with John.
I'm gonna go to Phil next, and that's, he's
Well,
doing both of your
it's
areas.
kind of an awkward thing, because it's like historically always,
Yeah, no, that's okay.
trustee would do it, but.
Yeah.
I mean.
No, I don't mind if we listen, from the mayor's standpoint, guys, when you blend it Or you, really, it's just
We're gonna let that-
information.
Well, I mean, it's
Are you two gonna-
You plan on coming to every board meeting, and what's your plan moving forward? Plan to be here.
Yeah.
So if you can't be able, we'll read your reports.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, you can speak firsthand. When I mean,
Yeah, cause you're,
Like, so a lot of it too is just stuff that I, typically I know, you're.
Thanks, Matt, Phil. Okay, so we'll go to John Woodland.
Yeah, so like Matt said, obviously snow plowing's been in full swing. Including today, we've done 25 days as far as plowing snow. I took a little note here, we had a mechanical failure on one of our salters, which made things a little bit more difficult. The guys up at the highway were able to get a spare salter. Repaired and put it into commission, and we used it for a run today, and it worked great, so now we've got a whole nother spare setup, and we have that one, so. In the future, if something like that happens again, we'll less downtime. We can just drop right in and go. You mentioned the trees, we had some high winds, responded to multiple trees down. And then during the recent warm up, which will be an ongoing thing throughout the season, we try to repair some of the bigger potholes. Stuff like that. And then you mentioned too, which we're gonna talk about tonight, residents noticed we've been demoing sidewalk clearing equipment. It's kind of a pilot program. We're looking for feedback. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later, so I'll just. leave it at that. So, that's what I got for the highway. So, mainly it's been snow, we've had, this season has been a lot of snow, so.
How about water and wastewater?
For water, I've got on here, I know we talked about a monthly water usage. This is for the quarter, and I got these numbers from Kevin, so. I'm not relaying it right, just let me know.
Okay.
So we documented that we used 5,667,453 gallons. And we billed for a total of 4,427,800 gallons. And you had a formula for equating for the hydrant flushing stuff we did in the last quarter. And it came out to be somewhere around a 4% water loss, which is a big improvement.
What an improvement, yeah.
Yeah,
It's unaccounted for water. It might not be like direct loss, it's just water we don't know right now.
Right.
Where it is.
yeah.
Well, that's a,
But basically, what's the average for municipalities, like 10% loss? 5% from talking with Dustin and Phil Badman, 5% is the goal. So, if we're at that 4 to 10%, that's perfect. That's what we want to be shooting for every
good,
single.
great, guys, that's great.
We need to see it every, doing it once is great, beating it every time is,
well, we're reading meter.
Right, is this,
we're doing a lot of things.
is that bringing that number under control primarily due to meter readings and stuff like that, getting the new meters put in, like that's what?
John's doing a lot of the new meters. We chase
Yeah.
leaks. We're finding Tracy and Mel are fixing some things in the software. Like
Buildings.
buildings, we're doing the municipal buildings, so we're just chasing after things that, just finding those things. So it's just a lot of things that all
Cause
the
we weren't
departments are working
building.
together to
Buildings,
to
right?
go after.
Right, I just remember a couple of months ago, there were issues about, this huge percentage of unaccounted for water and basically it's just now being accounted for, so it's not.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
It's not like it's just disappearing,
no, it's just accounting.
we're figuring out where it is.
Yeah,
I think
Excellent.
that was the major concern before, right, that we had kind of massive.
And the highway washes the
average
trucks
water.
pretty much all the time.
Yeah,
You know what
I mean, that's
So we're-
fantastic.
That's water.
Yeah, oh,
Good to
yeah.
know.
I mean, still probably a lot of water.
And that kind of brings me to another point I had in here, we're working on getting meters changed out, ones that we don't think are reading correctly or non-reading, and I'm kind of I've been working with Kevin with it, but I've kind of taken a focus on the commercial accounts, bigger meters. Large users, stuff like that we think aren't quite, what they should be using, so, I've got things when Kevin's got a list too about some meters we're gonna try and get in and start making appointments to change them, so. And then we'll, continue to hammer out the residential meters as we can.
Started.
And hopefully that'll, that should.
So moving in the
catch
right
up
place.
here where, things are making sense, so. Bill asked me to, document the stakeouts we did, kind of slow this time of year, so we responded to 5 planned stakeouts for excavations for other utility companies, contractors, and 1 emergency stakeout due to a gas leak on Craig Street. The thing that we're gonna, it's gonna be coming out, is we're gonna identify service line material at the point of entry, so where it comes into somebody's basement or somebody's crawl space or whatever it may be. I'd like to try and send out notices to start making appointments for that. It's a tough time of year to do that, because not everybody's here, but as many as we could do, and they've already got a list going of, ones that we know, but there's still, quite a few undocumented. And that's something the New York State Department of Health is requiring a report on. So I would have worked to try and start making appointments, even though everybody's not here, and, hopefully in the spring when people come back, we can just start doing it, maybe send out a notice for their next meter reading. So. And then I had on here also, Pat and myself met with LE Engineering to discuss water issues, including a second connection on Margaret Road in North Geneva. And then, having them go over some engineering for maybe some piecemeal work to upgrade smaller sections of Maine. Just so we have numbers for, when grants come about or budgeting or, lower interest loans, whatever it may be. That's pretty much what I had for water. The big thing was the meters and, kind of getting a handle on where all the water was. And a lot of that too, Josh and Melanie, and Tracy too, the political side of things. And then moving on to wastewater, Josh had a really good summary. He had everything all typed up too, and I unfortunately don't have that with me. I know exactly where it's at. A lot of that was just based on the stuff we went over last time. A lot of approvals for stuff that needed to be fixed, and we're really trying to move forward with getting that place up to snuff and making it so that we're less emergencies, more maintenance, less emergencies. I feel bad that I don't have that. I mean, did you print it off? Yeah, I think it's with the other picture too. That's in my.
We take a picture of those takeoffs.
Are we taking pictures?
Yeah.
No,
We
so it
should,
could be,
we should,
yeah,
because people can move the flag
well, yeah.
and say, well, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it wasn't over there. I mean, so if you take a picture and then it kind of
Right.
designates where it is,
Yeah.
I would take it.
Yeah, I know some of the third party companies are huge. I mean, they take videos,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Just want to make sure this matches up the folks now.
You continue, John, if you want, you got a couple more on.
Yeah,
water?
I feel bad. Josh did a really nice job.
I have
what
it here.
things you have in there.
I have it here. Years off to a good start wastewater with the recent board approvals from last month. We have many valuable assets that needed to be repaired and underway. Number one, all proper paperwork attached with the PO was sent to Blake for repair of the main lift fair pump. We received a 1-year warranty on this rebuild and we'll install the pump the day it's returned. To take advantage of the warranty.
Are we close to getting that thing?
Well, it's gonna take 4 to 6 weeks to get back, so, number two, supplied Heather from BDP, the PO from the board approval for press repair. As of Friday, to receive the new pump and had it scheduled to be line tested at their facility. Following their testing, an appointment will be made to send the service tech out to replace the wipers and keepers. And to install the new pump and advise on the priming issue, so they're gonna address that, let us know
Good.
if we need to move forward with the service tank and. If not, so we'll get their opinion and huddle back with Elliot and see what we gotta do for DEC approvals, or
Okay,
it's just something we can do. Monday, December 29th, around 1:15 PM, we had high winds and had some electrical issues hit our plant.
oh, yeah,
Emergency call to Calcino was made due to our blowers being down. They responded and they told them if they smelled and saw smoke coming from our VFD cabinet. It was determined that our VFD was the problem. We removed the burn control and took one from blower 2, which we're not using, and swapped it out in the cabinet 1. This got us back up and operating quickly. John and myself are requesting quotes for Calcino to replace the VFD. All lab tests to date are well within our permit. Flows, recent rainfall gives us an understanding of infiltration in our system. We generally average between 140 to 170, is it million gallons a day, MGD?
Yeah,
Millions.
or not million, no, we don't do million,
MGD.
That's what it's out.
It's 0.14 to 0.17
I was gonna say, I thought it was.
million gallons, daily here at
this time of year. The recent rain and fast warm ups accompanied by melting snow. We reached 0.3 with a max day of 0.435. As of this morning, we're at 0.242. So. We still got water coming in, we still got storm water coming into our sanitary system, so whether it's, sub pumps that people have hooked up that smoke tested to catch, or we've got leaks in the system, we're taking on water. Being double.
Right.
Which, affects our bacteria and calcium bacteria, which makes the whole operation work, so. We still have work to do in that. And we gotta plug those. South Shore One lift station is only pumping on one pump, and we'll be getting quotes on this soon. Lake Road Two is only pumping on one pump, quoting that also. Clover Street is still waiting for Coliseum to install the new probe, thus creating a lot of alarms. Which have been monitored, due to the pump not shutting off and running dry, so. Sounds like there's a high limit switch or something not activating, so I hope we don't burn that pump on us or.
Yeah, so the probe that's in there gets all that's where most of the grease and stuff comes in.
Yeah.
You know, from all the restaurants now, it's with the,
So that's on with the,
and it gets built up on the outside of it, you periodically have to clean it. There is a high limit switch though that will, you know.
or a low
limit, so there's one. And I talked now, so, you know, they had a new transducer that they have been using, and they're like half the price, I guess. So what happened, they sold the rights to this probe that they use, the flight, and flight makes them source it through them, and they basically control the price. So they came up with another solution, and he's getting me a quote for
Oh, good.
on that too. And then, I think we talked with Josh tomorrow.
Yes.
And we're gonna go around, and make a little list of some of these different things at the different pump stations and stuff, just to get a idea where we should start.
So I've talked to Kevin about it, I met with Josh, John and I hit upon it, we still really need to crack down on our restaurants and our inspections, and we gotta cut this grease off at the source, because that pump station is getting grease built up on the perimeter of it. It's affecting the pump, it's affecting the sensors. We can buy an aerator, but it's just gonna push it down the line, and we're gonna have to deal with it.
Somewhere else, yeah.
So which is that whole $350,000 great sediment system up there,
So
so.
the other stations don't have any grease,
No, it's all downtown, it's all.
just that one.
You've got all the restaurants, and, you know, Kevin did an inspection earlier this year, but. After meeting with Williamson told us that ice cream is actually one of our biggest grease producers, so if we, you know, Potts Point and 650 have, if their ice cream sinks are actually draining, not going through the grease trap. Or usually it's a 3-bay sink that they do all the dishes in that, we may have to do something to intervene with that, but they said the ice cream could be our biggest culprit.
And I think I had a discussion with you, and I think Bill had mentioned, is that do you have a plan? to-
Yeah, so actually on here I had, my goal is over the next 2 weeks that, you know, there's only a couple of places open.
Right,
Actually only, well, I guess it's Trestle and Jackson.
That's the one.
Yeah, they don't have anything, so.
They still have three, so they still have 3 bases.
Yeah, they still do dishes.
And
yeah.
Doc's was open up until almost the first of the year, so yeah, I think they planning to.
So when these places get open too, obviously we'll be doing it, but
Sure.
my goal is, you know, within the next 2 weeks to get down there. Kevin had a pretty good procedure written up, and what we'd like to do is actually post something in the restaurant. Where, you know, restaurant staff signs off on it that they're cleaning it, and then we go in once a month and physically check, you know, hey, can you open the grease trap and show us, or whatever, maybe pictures or something.
Yeah, I think it's before and after picture.
Yeah.
Suffice.
Yeah,
good.
something we can sign off on and put it with Kevin's records, you know, and then,
Mhm.
get some issues, so then we go to the.
Is it
Yeah.
scheduled once a month, is it scheduled, or is it just random? That do it randomly.
Yeah, I mean, it could be randomly, it
How
could
is it random?
It's whatever we need for compliance, so some
Yeah.
people are gonna be really good about it, some people are gonna be really bad about it, it all
Yeah.
depends on how it works.
So I own a company that actually cleaned grease traps at one time, and. Our hope was to develop a route where everybody would just go service them once a month, but. Historically, restaurants only call you on a Friday night when the water stops flowing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that didn't work out so well, so, it's a smelly, messy job. Nobody likes to do it, their services out there, they're probably costly, they have done. But it's gonna push a huge cost to the village. If we don't address it, we don't stop it in the source. We're gonna end up, yes, we can buy equipment, to put at that pump station, we can buy more equipment to put at the plant, but the whole village is. Gonna bear the brunt of something that someone can just do through preventive maintenance and regular housekeeping it within their restaurant, so. Nobody wants to see anything go up, but in this inflationary time, I mean, everything else in the world is doubled in price. And we're kind of stagnant. I mean, when we talk about budgeting, and then we gotta talk about what it's gonna cost to. Raise some of these fees because we need to bolster the reserves to keep these expensive infrastructures up and running. We can't just wait and rely on grants, but what happens when we don't get the grants and we're in, it really kind of.
Yeah, I mean, that's a distinct possibility. We don't know what we're gonna get to, so.
And Sharon told me, I mean, the grant awarders are kind of clued in because there's been a history of people just waiting for the grant to come out instead of actually taking care of, doing the preventive maintenance on their systems.
Right,
And you're less likely to get a grant if you're not taking care of your own stuff. So this is like changing oil, careful, we gotta do it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on the grease trap inspection too. It's also a good thing for the restaurants. My opinion, the sewer lateral is owned by the restaurant or the business, and that helps keep their lateral in good shape too, not clogged up. And that Friday night during dinner service, not having an issue, so. So it's not just a benefit to us, it's a benefit to the restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely. And down there, it's tight that they got, you're busting out concrete to redo a sewer line. I mean, it's not gonna be cheap and it's gonna disrupt the whole town. It's gonna happen on the busiest day when it comes, so.
I mean, is this an issue that, obviously I understand that restaurants are huge contributors to this and probably majority of it. But I mean, is it something that we may wanna just kind of put out some kind of information generally to people? If it's solid at room temperature, don't put it down your drain. That's.
You can, you can put out all the information you want. At the end of the day, the person working back there, they have to care, and a lot of people
You gotta
don't.
scrape the plates.
Well, I mean, just talking, not even limited to the restaurants, to homeowners.
No, the aggregate is huge. I mean,
It's just like,
Yeah.
So it's fast, bad oil increase.
Yeah.
And Jeff used to be really good about it. He used to say, think before you flush. With flushable wipes, they're not flush.
Right, yeah.
Despite
what it says on the package.
Yeah, despite what it says, it's always think before you flush.
So you throw the flushable wipes in with the pipes that are coagulating all the grease and
Yeah.
hitting our pump station. I mean, it just compounds the problem.
Yeah.
It's really, we gotta help ourselves as a community. And yes, I agree with you. We should do, there's plenty of flags, literature out there. We could start putting it on.
Yeah.
Even if we get 10% of the people, it's 10% better than that.
Right, I mean, it's just an awareness thing too. I mean, I'm sure people, come back when they've been gone all winter and look in the fridge and there's that bottle of Italian dressing that expired 2 months ago, and they just dump it down the sink,
Yeah,
which is not the right answer.
No, I mean, we're gonna pay for that.
I cook my bacon, I take paper towels and suck up all the grease and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
So drip, I don't
I don't put it in a jar, and leave it on the counter, because I use it.
Oh, you use it?
Oh, yeah.
you good?
Maybe the last thing I had here, so we also met, like I said before, we met with, Bob Elliott, and that included a lot from the wastewater treatment plant study from 2014.
Oh, yeah.
And we kind of went over what the short-term priorities were, and all those have been completed. Then we moved to the long-term goals. So we have them doing some engineering work to try and maybe start getting a list compiled of where we want to move forward there.
Yeah, those were mainly big ticket items, not all. but
Yeah,
most
those
of
were
them
the
big
bigger,
ticket
a
items.
lot of the smaller stuff got knocked off.
Yeah.
And I was just pulling out here, this is all.
Yeah, that's the thing I made. I made that up a while ago, and then we just updated it.
Yeah, so Kevin has to, pass this around to say, fat oils and grease kind of What you call it, code, because it's not the.
So there's a code amendment in there, but that's like the whole.
Oh, I
program.
mean, it's very deal stuff.
It's the whole program, it's an informational packet, and then in there is the checklist for an inspection. That sheet would go on the wall or wherever they kind of dictate, and then when I do my fire inspection every year, I would grab that sheet and say, you've accomplished what you're supposed to do, or you haven't, why haven't you done it? And when we do enforcement, from that point. So that way we have something to stand on. There's a lot of information here, what a grease trap is, how you size them, different things to kind of get all that information out there to people.
So there's like just a little bit more awareness like that.
Yeah, there's a lot more awareness in it, and then a few code amendments that we would have to do for the sewer code.
But I want to get this into, wherever I can. As soon as possible, so. Next week I get a stop by check, stuff like that.
Good. Thank you very much.
So the one other thing I wanted to address, you told me there was a meeting on Monday, but I didn't have the time, so I didn't call in, with Elliot. In the 2015 report. He put in there that we should put these diffusers in to help process and reach our dissolved oxygen levels, which we've been struggling to do
Mhm.
at the plant. And it was one of the target items that it was his report, he put it in there, and then he said we didn't have to do it. I think we should at least, see what the expense of doing it before we load that second tank. It's a lot easier to do it now while it's clean, and then find out that we're not reaching our dissolved oxygen numbers later. And then have to, switch it over to the
Because
other.
we're only using one, right?
We're only using one, but before we go fill it with all our waste, it's a lot easier to put those diffusers in the bottom of the tank while it's
Sure.
clean. Otherwise, I don't know what the process is of switching over and.
Yeah, I don't know if they're steel, PVC, whatever the deal is, but I agree with you.
The diffusers are all.
If we're gonna do it, like you say,
Let's at least
yeah,
give an estimate and a budgetary number.
Right, yeah.
and that was in the report too, there was a number on that, obviously it's changed now. But
Yeah.
nothing has to be engineered.
Yeah, if you get that, we can share that, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the big
that's
things,
good.
or maybe we can do partial of that, because I think they want to do the blower motors and that at the same time. So maybe we can do that part and get that done before we,
Yeah, I think the
Boy,
blower motors are gonna be a big number, but
Yeah.
let's see what they come back with the energy on it, see if there's any kind of reasonable ROI, and then. When we talk about budgeting, if we can budget for that. That's a small number, the diffusers is a small number, the blower motors is gonna be a big.
Well, it's gonna be a big number,
Right.
yeah. Got it.
Yeah, Rich touched on a lot of the planning and zoning board stuff that's going on. We're also we're trying to finish up the zoning amendment and the comprehensive plan. That's taking up quite a bit of time. Rich has been integral in helping us through that. It's been very cumbersome to go through. I only had 3 new building permits last month, but as John said, I have been trying to help with the other departments and just trying to get some of the water stuff under control.
Sure,
That's been taking up a lot of time. So that's been most of my focus.
I've seen it.
Yeah, so that's been most of my time, and that's kind of all I have to report.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
If I could just kind of expand a little bit on the code
yeah,
amendment thing, basically the way it's working is. The planning board takes an hour before each meeting, twice a month, to go through. The proposed amendments and discuss them and. Make recommendations, that sort of thing. It is extraordinarily time consuming because a lot of it has to do with. Definitions and things like that, and why are things defined in certain ways and not in other ways. And there's a lot of different ways that you need to be able to look at these things in order to determine what's the best way to define a convenience store, for example. That was one that took a while last meeting. So it's cumbersome. It takes a long time, but it's, we're trying to choke through it.
Is there a better resource for doing that? I know we're deep into it, but it seems like, we're trying to reinvent the wheel. I mean, our problems are. We have a few unique things being a waterfront community, but you would think with all the code books out there and all that.
Well, that's where it's basically come from. It's come from a bunch of different code books. But just because it comes from another code book doesn't mean it makes sense in that code book either.
Yeah.
and our code is a little unique, and we have the planning board has to review every code amendment. Sometimes you'll see the village board can review it, and then some places, if you watch what they do, they'll hire an engineering firm to review it and then give them a recommendation of how things get it, affected. We go through every line of code in depth. We review everything and how it affects everything. And so with, I think the new zoning chapter has 130 codes and 82 pages, so we're only on 190-8.
Well, which is definitions and that's.
Definitions and permitted uses, so we still have
Yeah.
quite a bit to do. But it goes quicker once we get through that.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. So it should go a little bit quicker. Yeah. Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Public comments. Anything from the public? I'll take a peek up at the Zoom.
Make sure that
We do have, you couldn't make it here, but Peter is looking at, which,
Hey guys, good evening. I'm sorry I can't be there in person right now.
not a problem.
That's all right. We got you on the old business. Is there?
Just pass that around. Peter's sent some information, just some additional pictures, and
Yeah, I saw him.
you did, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So are we moving on to this or is there?
Or, yeah, if there's,
Okay.
I'm just looking up.
I wrote it on you if anyone else wants to comment on anything. I haven't said.
I won't see anything. Okay, we've had a month to think about this. I think, that when we look at the 8603 Greg Street request, I had a chance to talk to our lawyers, and it's, obviously we don't have a legal responsibility to.
No, of course not. I apologize for not having sent my pictures earlier. We had another health incident, so thank God we had the new driveway installed in the interim period. You can see on the new imagery that I've pulled up from 2021, how much property we've lost, how low it was actually put in the sewage system, and how clearly the new curb is badly positioned. You can also see evidence of how we have not complained, unlike neighbors, about lawn disruption, which we've had in 2011 and many other times, but I happen to have pictures from these things. So you've got new imagery from 2021, from when this project sort of started, I guess, how much property we lost because of it, and the results that you've already seen because of it. I realize there's no legal commitment to it, but I think you can see the issues.
Yeah. So.
I also am aware the reason that this didn't come up more recently is because it didn't really dawn on me, but we really haven't had a serious winter until 2024 to 25, and now again. So it didn't really, the issue didn't surface as well as it should have until it got properly cold a year and a half ago. Well, a year and a couple months ago, whatever.
No, true. We've had a mild couple of winters. You're absolutely correct. And was just the end of last year was the first feeling of a severe segment of winter that we used to have for 4 to 6 months around here. Yeah,
Exactly.
I with that. But we're here tonight to make a determination and move on. I don't think it's worth our situation. We don't want to just move this thing down. I think we need to address it. And Peter, no matter what the vote, I thank you for bringing this to our attention. And you did a good job with obviously information gathering and sharing that with us. But I think we should, deal with that.
That's fine with me, Marilola. Let's see what happens.
So the request is.
To reimburse for half, I think Peter's.
Half.
3,800. And the family was asking for reimbursement for half, which would be 1,900.
Because the total payment includes the removal of the old driveway, which was never our original goal. We also don't even like the new driveway. It's very inconvenient now that it's flush against our front porch, which used to have a proper step to it. So if flooding ever comes, it's coming straight in the house now.
I think it's pitched pretty good. I don't think it'll do bad. Unless it's
No, the driveway is good, but if the water ever gets high, I mean, that's pretty much the ground floor at this point.
the water got that high though, Pete, it would,
Yeah, hopefully not.
but,
Is there a motion either way?
I motion that we approve it. for the $1,900. After I've done laser work out there, I mean, I see the pictures, I mean, it's clear. It was done improperly by the Ready Project, and they've suffered for a long time.
I second that. I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Good. There you go.
Thank you guys very much. It was my pleasure. And I look forward to helping in any way I can in the future also, please. Okay.
All right, Peter, thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of my family, I'd also like to inform you, seeming as it's been approved, we actually have intentions of donating a chunk of the funds to the fire department and the ambulance department.
Unbelievable. Peter, thank you. You didn't need.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, board. New business, we came up in the last meeting, MMB year-end audit approval on 5/31/25. We need to approve, right?
Mhm.
Motion.
It's so what, I'm not exactly sure what the motion is for here.
Just approving their finding, like, this is, the independent audit, they came through and this is what they, they show you with the procedures that they go through, their findings, and it's just approving
Their audit,
their audit.
and I move we approve the MMB year-end 5/31/25 audit.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Next, new business, Silver Waters driver, membership, David Akins.
It's actually not a driver, he would be a medic, paramedic, actually, he has a higher degree of training. But he's applied to volunteer with Silver Waters. He has previously worked with Union Hill. He was part of their team, and currently he is working for Wayne County EMS. So, and he is a paramedic, he's got a van.
So volunteer though, not
Yes.
paid.
That's his
Yes.
status, volunteer.
Because we hire, the ambulance hires through EMS staffing and clients, not, and he works for Wayne County
Yeah,
EMS, so
okay.
different company.
He's looking just to do volunteer work.
Yes, yes.
and is there a particular schedule that he would be committed to or anything like that?
They would work that out, they would work that out. So the president of the Silver Waters, Tom Piconka, and Keith Egner, who's the director of operations, they both approved it, and he's come through. It's a small world for EMS as well, they
Not
kind
sure they all
of know
know
each
each other,
other,
yeah.
but yeah, maybe just kind of wants to, I don't know. I mean, I think would be a great
Oh,
opportunity.
sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so.
The
So
application or?
I do, if you wanna see it, you can, it's got some personal information on it, so I didn't send it to all of you, but,
Sounds pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, I think this is a good, so I'd like to make a motion that I move that we approve, is it David? Yes.
David,
Yes.
I'll second.
As a volunteer member of the Silver Waters.
I second.
Did
You already seconded?
Yeah, I think
It's okay.
so.
I started.
Whoever
No,
gets
it's
one
okay.
vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried.
Go.
Understood. The ICER policy procedures, discussion. Just.
All right, I'll dive in here. There was a request made for some information about the ICER policies and procedures and whatnot. And it was asked, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Phil, you asked for a certain amount of information because your goal was to post some information about where the de-icers are and things like that for,
I just want to give like broad numbers. We have 30 de-icers out there that will be eroding the ice 20 foot off the end of the dock. If you see any de-icers within 300 foot of a public access, it shouldn't be there. You know, they're illegal if they're within 300 foot of a public access. Like just looking for.
So basically, for
I want to map it, you know, so last January, I mean, it made the Finger Lakes Times. We did email blast.
Last January, I put out. Something on Facebook.
So I didn't, you know, that's all, it's just, you know, here we are, it's a second winter in a row, we actually had ice, I mean, there was a, you know, we went a 4-year period, there was no ice, and nothing, okay, so. People forget, you know, it's like people forgot about the flooding already, I see them cutting their walls down shorter and everything, so, you know, it was just. I wanted to do a public service announcement, you know, I'm a snowmobiler, you know, if we have ice out there and I go to dinner at Riley's and, you know, I want to make sure everybody's in compliance, you know, not that I'm doing Kevin's job, but if I see the icer that's opening up water, but it doesn't have the sign, or it's missing the flasher, or the battery's not in the flasher, I'll report it back to Kevin. But,
well, I mean, that,
you know, that's all I was looking for, you know, how many do we have, you know, and it really, I mean, hindsight being 2020, you know, people spend a lot of money on these docks, and I understand they want to protect them, but, you know, we can't protect them at, you know, the risk of somebody losing their life, it just isn't worth it. You know,
unless they got the binker or the.
well, even then, I mean, because, I mean, it's not an exact science, because that bubbler, depending on the horsepower, depending how it's tilted and installed, depending on where they have it on the dock, and every horsepower can be different, you know. Yeah, so you know, how many people put their bubbler in on their dock for the winter and they don't know that it's eroding the ice 60 feet out or 70 feet out?
Does temperature make a difference?
well,
There's a million variables, it's
Yeah.
infinitely variable, so here's the, you know, hindsight being 2020, if I was sitting on this board 25 years ago, or I don't even know, when did they write the de-icer code, any idea when?
The de-icer.
99, I think it was, the first year.
Yeah, it's in the amendment.
Yeah, so like 1998, there was twin 7-year-old boys died on the bay down in Shaker Heights. It might have been what prompted, you know, the village of Sodas, or the town of Sodas mimics our code, or we mimic their code.
Well,
So-
the town of Solis, correct me if I'm wrong, does not have any de-icers at all.
Yeah, anyways, I looked it up today.
Yeah, but they do not enforce their de-icer, or Huron do not enforce their de-icer.
So I didn't see a code for Huron, town of Sodas code, and, you know, I'll make a call in the town of Sodas next, but
Yeah,
you know, we can't promote ourselves as a year-round tourist, you know, destination and have people walking out on the ice, cross-country skiing, ice boat racing, snowmobiling, fisher people. I mean, we've got all this activity. When the ice comes in, this town comes alive.
And drunk guy walking home.
And, you know, we can't afford that bad precedent. Have someone, we already had one person die in 2010, which, I mean, it was, you know, it was off our South Shore Road at public access. They said it was 100 feet out, so someone who had a 60-foot dock and they had a bubble around there, if the bubbler eroded the ice further than it should have. And it was my understanding that it wasn't his first time on a bay, like he fished here for years. And here he was unknowingly walking out on the ice, goes through, you know, and all his gear was sitting on top of the ice, and then, you know, someone heard him screaming, and, you know, he went through, his gear stood on the ice. I mean, they had to go, you know, so we just.
Well, I mean,
You know, so.
I understand I understand the reason for the concern. The issue that I have is making some sort of public announcement about this is where the de-icers are. To me, there's some suggestion that if you're not near that, everything's fine. And if there, well, let me address first of all the de-icers are inspected regularly, correct?
correct. In December, I start my de-icer process like I've done for the last 10 years. I've done the same thing. Done it for the last 10 years.
All right, and and you're inspecting for those things in the code that say you need a 4x4 sign, you need an amber light.
Nothing within 300 feet of the public access, can open up more than 20 foot of open water, and it has to be visible from 500 feet.
So, but we stopped permitting them, correct?
We haven't issued.
They
a permit
haven't,
since
there's not
2015.
been, yeah, there hasn't been a de-icer permit issued since 2013.
And there's not actually a requirement in the code, to have a permit. Right, it doesn't say if you have a de-icer, you shall get a permit. Village, it doesn't say that.
I believe,
It refers to permits, but it's a peculiar way.
it is,
It doesn't say if you have a de-icer, you should get a permit.
It says every structure for which a de-icer shall be permitted shall be posted in such a manner as to warn the person on land or water site which used in operation of the de-icer. I mean, we even have a fee of $5. I mean,
But it doesn't say, let me back up. You can enforce this without a permit, right? These things here are required whether you have a permit.
correct.
There's not something that says, if you have a de-icer property owner, you have to go to the village and get a permit. It doesn't actually say that. What it says is in 86-25B, where if a de-icer conforms to the requirements, then there shall be a permit issued. It's a peculiar way to word it, but it doesn't really.
I think it works. I mean, it says we need a permit. All right,
It
I mean, and it really, I mean, in any instance in which the
It does.
docks and mooring inspector is required to consider a de-icer permit, right there. I mean, that says you need a permit.
But if you look at the way 25B is,
That is 25B.
it says that if the de-icer conforms with the requirements, it does not impair the safety, the inspector shall issue a permit. It doesn't say that the property owner has to get a permit.
An applicant shall submit an application on the form prescribed by the docks and mooring inspector. And in fact, our press release went as far to say that we now have to have an
Are
indemnification.
you reading the docs one though? Are you reading the, is that?
Is that-
I'm asking if you're reading, so the one above it, are you reading the one above it or are you reading the one below it? Or, because you're kind of doing a couple of things here. You're making
Oh,
an
wait,
interpretation to code.
Oh, I'm sorry, I went
Yeah.
past that.
Yeah.
You're saying they don't need a.
It's not worded that way.
I've enforced it the same way.
It's a peculiar.
And this has been going on since.
So somebody falls
I
through the
know
ice
it's
by
for
their
me,
dock,
but yeah.
they cut the water over, they liable.
Yeah.
They're liable, not the village.
Now,
What you
and
missed.
and you have requirements in here, the requirements have to be met, there's no requirement ever, but there are requirements that your de-icers comply with what's in here. Right?
So
it's
there's
enforceable.
liability, they're liable.
Yeah.
Not the village.
Do you have a copy of the indemnification you want everybody to sign that had the, yes, sir?
Indemnification.
Yeah, you had something, it was in one of the articles.
So I think we should let them know that they're liable. You know, if you have a design.
I don't know that I would provide legal advice.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Matt.
Oh.
So 86-23.1 is your.
But
Okay, that's why we want you here.
yeah, I would tell them they're liable for it, but
Okay.
now, if the question is, do you want to require a permit? That's a different question, in which case I would make it more clear.
well, and there's, as far as amending,
And I don't know why it was worded that way in the first place.
right, no, understood. I mean, the
It's
code is,
peculiar, it's worded in a very.
the code is what it is at this point, and it, as far as the safety issues of that code are concerned, they are inspected for and enforced. The,
Yeah, I think if you didn't have an enforcement, you know, what I understand you're doing, I think is consistent with ensuring that there's compliance, right?
correct,
If you were not looking at the de-icers that you're aware of and doing some, let's call it inventory, you know, whether it's formal or not, and assessing those de-icers to see if they comply with this, you know, then it might be a different issue, but it sounds to me like you're doing that. So
well, yeah, and the part of the issue that I have
as
is
long as it's documented.
if there is going to be any sort of public service announcement from the village, including in it a list of this is where the de-icers are, leaves a suggestion that if you go anywhere else, you're okay. The
And if
issue
we
to
know
me
every
is,
single one of them.
I mean, like, there's sitting in my living room, there's open water in front of my house. I don't have a de-icer. The only de-icers close to me are several houses down. And they're not causing the water to be open in front of my house. And I look across the bay and the entire bay is open on the other side, over by the islands. It's open. So just to say, look, all right, now that the ice is there, if you don't go near these 10 or 20 places, everything's fine. That's misleading to me. And if there is to be an announcement, I think the announcement should be, look, there are many things that might cause open water. De-icers among them. There's a lot of de-icers along South Shore Road. That's something we potentially need to make people aware of. Anywhere else,
There are
there's
creek inlets into the.
anywhere else, there's a concentration of them. But I mean, there could be thin ice because of
It's just that.
thin ice, or because
Water.
there's runoff from the street. There's a storm sewer that empties out into the bay. And that water is gonna that could cause thin ice somewhere. And if we make a general announcement that if you're going out on the ice, there are things you need to be concerned about. Pointing out particular places, to me, gives a suggestion that if you're not near those places, you're good. And that's not, to me, a responsible message. to
So
be
how many
pointing out.
de-icers do we have?
Ballpark, what do you think?
So can we point them out, point everything out then?
I mean,
Like the ice figures,
Well, yeah, I
Point everything.
can say, look, there are,
Yeah, we'll look at it.
rivers coming in, you know. taking
yeah,
areas
over by Second Creek. By the, that's wide open.
It almost goes without saying. I mean, most people, understand it. We're
So
creating.
if you're saying,
We're creating an artificial situation. When you put a de-icer out there, it's artificial. All right, it's not a natural occurring, a creek coming in, a sewer going in, it's a natural occurring.
The sewer going in is just as artificial as a boat. It's a de-icer. I mean,
No, it's not, but the icers change from year to year. I mean, if there was a new dock installed, we've had a ton of new docks installed. All right, we can't inspect what we don't know is there. So to ask if there was a list or not, it'd be nice to say we have 100 de-icers within, 4,700 feet of shoreline. Be careful out there.
well, and the contributor and stuff like
That
that.
would be,
well, yeah, but I mean, I think there's more,
It's
there's
just like more like a general.
there's
statement.
way
General
more to it than just saying there's one over there, there's one over there, there's one over there, and these are the places you need to worry about.
So how many liability waivers do we have, Fine.
I don't, that never, what you're talking about is something that our attorney never, do you know that?
So on our village website, okay, it says right here. This year, the building department and the board of trustees updated our docks and mooring law. With this, we also updated the ISER rules. With so many ice fishermen and winter sportsmen enjoying the frozen bay, we need to be vigilant in enforcing these new rules and ensure safety. Below, I will attach new rules so everybody knows them. Please be sure to fill out a liability waiver for having a de-icer and understand, above all else, there is no de-icer allowed within 300 feet of public access point. Anyone found in violation of the portion of this code will be notified and required to remove them. Please understand that we are doing this to protect all residents and visitors alike. Copies of the liability waiver are available at the village hall and by request to the code enforcement officer. Updated chapter 86 of Docks and Mooring Law, 86-4, de-ice or any mechanism that impedes the formation of ice by the movement of air bubbles or chemical applications by which warmer subsurface water is drawn up and deflected to the surface, creating circulation of warmer water that prevents ice formation. 86-23, de-icer limitations and configurations. All residents and businesses intending to use a de-icer are required to notify the code enforcement officer of such de-icer and shall be subject to any paperwork regarding liability. The following stipulations shall be met when using the de-icer. The de-icer should not be allowed within 300 foot of public access. The de-icer shall be installed in manner so not to create open water in excess of 20 feet from the structure serviced by the de-icer. C, every structure for which the de-icer shall be permitted shall be posted in such a manner and warn persons from land and water side to use of the use and operation of such a deicer. Daytime warnings shall consist of a sign of not less than 4 by 4 feet. Displays lettering in blaze orange and letters not less than 6 inches in height, which states caution, open water. Nighttime warnings shall consist of flashing amber light at least 6 inches in diameter, which can be seen from the water side a minimum of 500 feet. Such warning light must operate nightly between dusk and dawn. Such warning lights and signs must be in use and functioning between December 1st and April 1st.
So the page you just read, when Devin made our website, he dumped everything from the old website with this. That page isn't linked to anything.
Yeah.
That's just a dead page. I just find it takes forever. Like, I'm surprised you're able to find this. And that'll just get removed because that liability waiver and those amendments can't be done.
Those were never done, you know.
Never done.
No.
Yeah, and our liability waiver, like Dwight said, sorry, you wouldn't give legal advice to residents. That was our suggestion back when I asked for legal advice, and our attorney said, do not do that. You would never do that with a resident. So that page will just get removed. That's confusing to the residents. But I'm surprised you've been able to find that.
Well, there was another issue that I wanted to raise too. The docks and moorings code was made part of the master plan. Amending that is moving mountains. It's very, very difficult. So it's not just amending the code. It's amending the master plan, which takes months and months and months from my understanding. So it's a Herculean task to amend something that then has to be brought into the master plan, which requires an amendment of the master plan as well. It doesn't make
Would
sense.
the amendment be inconsistent with the master plan?
Well, the code is literally an appendix in the master plan. So if we amend the code, it's an amendment of the master plan. That's at least my understanding of it. So changing it and things like that are potentially really difficult. So that's also an issue, but at the end of the day, I think the issue that we really need to address, if there is going to be some sort of.
Well, that's just how you're gonna communicate. It's all about public safety. We're
Right,
getting the same
right. I
thing
get the
from-
public
from
safety
the
aspect.
screen. It's about how we're gonna convey public safety, and let's do it as a team together, what we think is the most effective way. That's it.
So previously we permitted, prior to 10 years ago, we were doing permits. We're
They
charging
did permits, until 2013.
2013 is my last recorded permit. I got here in 2016.
13 years.
And I've enforced it the same way for the last 10 years. 86-23.1, I go out by probable cause, I inspect, which probable cause is very easy to get with a bubbler. There's open water, you see it, you can go after. Very easy. I've yet to find one, like, you can, and at night, you can see all the flashing lights from all the ones that we enforce.
Yeah, when you drive around, you see
You
them.
can see it, and at the beginning of every year, in December, I go to every public access point, and I look to see if there's anything close. Within 300 feet, and then I take my measurements off pictometry. So we'll do the same thing for 10 years. And then
Prior to that, we did have a permit, so it's not.
I think 2013, 3 years.
So I think if
So
you
we
wanted
could
to have a
actually-
permit, you could, but there's not a specific thing in here that requires you to get a de-icer. Like it requires you to get a dock and mooring permit other than a de-icer.
Do we have a copy of the previous de-icer permit application?
You have copies of what was approved. I don't have a copy of the actual permit form. You just have what was approved, like the bill that got, like in all the folders, the $5 bill. That's what you have, like received $5.
So let's get back to the communication piece. I think that's what we.
So what can
want.
we do to communicate to the residents?
Right.
Safely for the village without putting ourselves in jeopardy? What can we say?
You mean as far as,
You know, just to let everybody know about what's going on, you know, there's these.
well, I think what you described would make sense to me, because you can say there are 150 de-icers in the shoreline of the village. I wouldn't necessarily tell them all that. And then there are other things that can cause thin ice. and-
Right, I mean, there
I
is.
think the DEC has guidelines on ice fishing, on safe ice fishing practices and how you know,
Yeah.
how you go off on the ice, surely you don't fall through. You
We
know,
don't-
there's guidance there, you could attach that. Probably
Or
not a
link
bad
it.
idea.
Or link to it.
Yes, yeah.
See, yeah, I could see. us
Not
doing
list
that.
each.
Phil, that's a,
Well, and then
Really?
you're using something the DEC already uses, right? So you're not reinventing it. Okay, but I would take a look at it and see if there's something maybe special on the base.
oh, okay.
I mean,
Just
as a-
distinct there, but.
citizen, you say there's, to
Because I-
throw a number out, how would I know how to interpret that number? I mean, if you say there are many, just
Yeah,
look,
man.
look at the open water,
Look
look at
for
the
the
flashing
DEC
lights.
Assume there's a de-icer along the shoreline.
Yeah.
right? That may be thin, right?
That might be,
That would be the
Water
most,
features.
yeah.
Like, just
There may be de-icers along the entire shoreline, and so to say,
So
be
the problem-
careful when you're near the shoreline.
The problem I see is we do have a list.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's. We're relying on a list and a location, and I think to your point that. You know. Maybe there's one that isn't on the list, right? And someone goes there thinking.
Well, and
And I think.
there's no
you know,
list for anywhere outside of the village. So
Yeah,
5 houses down from me on South Shore
so I think.
is outside of the village.
Caution, there may be de-icers along the shoreline if you're on ice.
Right,
Period.
well, and I
And be
think,
careful if you're near the shoreline,
and I
and
think,
keep an eye out for them. You could describe what they might look like.
So I'll ask you again, how many do we have?
I'm not gonna give you a number, because I'd have to, right now I'd have to estimate it, so I'm not gonna do that.
We don't, he didn't know the exact amount, we can.
How about we just say money? Just say money.
I know, but he's out inspecting, there's got.
Can I just ask you, was last year not good enough for public outreach? Cause I did all that last year with Carly. Carly and I.
No,
did that Last year, so I was.
So it wasn't, I'm the new commissioner of public communications, so I was looking to do it again.
Yeah, so I was gonna work with Carly once is that not?
I mean, we had ice, we already had ice, we already had people ice fishing, it wasn't done. So I wanted to get on it,
Oh, so you want
Yeah,
something
but-
out, yeah.
you know, and it's not that it wasn't good enough, it's just, it's another year, it needs another reminder.
Yeah, I do it
We
when
can
you-
do that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
But I mean, the list should be foilable, the list should be available to the trustees anyways, it started out very simply, I asked for the list.
I think
We can
we
eventually.
want the safety here, and I think, work with.
As a trustee, I'm entitled to get that, I'm not, you can get, I don't wanna be playing cat and mouse.
I'm not gonna make something that, not gonna.
As a trustee, am I entitled to see the list or?
there's no list right now. There's nothing written up.
There's a list. How's he inspecting if he doesn't have a list, Rich?
Been doing it for 10 years, Phil.
I know.
go out and I
So you just
literally,
haphazardly walk around, you go on every single dock in the village, make sure.
if I have the cause to get on the property, I go on the property and inspect. I have my docs, which I know what properties have
But
done.
there is a list.
We don't have a list to give you.
But we could. We could get one, right? We could.
So you just haphazardly, you drive around, look for the ice.
Yeah.
Well, he could document.
You guys are playing cat and mouse with me. As a trustee, I'm gonna motion that you have until tomorrow to give me the list of every inspection you did 2 weeks ago that Rich said you did. And I want the 3 or 4 letters. that you sent. I want a motion. I'm making a motion. All right, that you provide the list of inspections that you did 2 weeks ago and the 3 or 4 letters that were sent on violation.
So I can't provide, can I provide, oh, actually, they're foilable, but they're open cases, the ones that I wrote letters on, you can foil them. That's fine, but there's open cases.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second? I made a motion. That Kevin provides us the list of the icers that he inspected within the last 2 weeks and the 3 or 4 letters that were mailed out to him on violation.
So there were letters mailed out to people that were in violation.
There were contacts made with people who were in violation. And those were largely taken care of, correct? They were
Correct,
corrected.
there's one that I'm still working on that'll handle it this weekend, and then there's one that is non-compliant, so they got a letter, and then the other one taken care of. Those are the
So
process.
all we're really looking for is a list.
No, he wants a full list of all of the items, but I don't have a list to give him.
Well, we can get one.
Rich has already talked to me about that and I'm working with Rich. Don't,
I mean,
I mean, we sent out violations notice.
they said there were, so you contacted a number of people by telephone about,
I just. can't talk about
Non-compliance.
address. I don't think I can talk about an address in open meeting.
Oh, that's fine.
I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't.
Because of the court case, I can't do that. No, or open violations, I can't do that. So I can't give it to you in open.
Well,
violations.
But I mean, there's people we
So-
know that have them that.
As that, okay, let's bring this back a little bit, okay, because this is. We need to, as the trustee in charge. Do we? Can we? Should we? Have a list of the people that have it?
should we? I mean, we could.
Yeah, and not a
I'm not-
time frame of tomorrow, no, you know, but having the
In
time,
a few
give
weeks.
him, give him some time to. Just accumulate a list of people that have it.
Hey,
you know,
we're
'cause
giving
He's gotta go out there anyways.
That's fine. I don't see any reason why that can't be put together at some
Yeah.
point.
Right,
The issue is what becomes of it and for what purpose?
We're giving a violation to people, so we have some type of limits, right? I mean, there has to be, I mean, we know there's people out there, so.
Well, that's not what's being asked for. What's being asked for is a list of essentially every de-icer that we have. And if there were people who were not in compliance, who are now in compliance, there's nothing to give. And if there's somebody who's not in compliance, there may be issues about whether or not that's publicly available information, if it's an ongoing enforcement issue.
But as a trustee, it's our job
To do what?
to enforce the laws of the village.
No, it's not.
But you were talking about safety. Let's get back to, we're talking about trying to communicate and remind folks, you know, in a general way that there could be a lot of, they need to be very proactive when they're walking out on the ice in particular. And, you know, a lot of reasons, there's a lot of bubblers. You tell me 150, that, what does that mean to me? You know, if I wanna walk out, you know,
there's a lot of
but
movement.
there's water movement, there's.
I mean, if
There's
somebody
a lot
goes
of
through
things
the
that-
ice in the bubble, right? And then the fire department goes out to find them. It'd be nice to have a list, if that's a place where you can actually.
Well,
If
like
somebody
maybe,
goes
maybe
out
you
in
can
Butler, I think somebody will call it in and they'll say at the end of this street or off the end of this street or what. I'm just saying, I think I think it's a great idea
Public
that we
safety
need to
announcement, oh,
bring
absolutely.
transparency, that we need to remind people
Yeah,
that
I do
this,
too.
it's a dangerous,
yeah,
going out on the ice could
But
be
that-
very dangerous. I think that's a great idea.
And I agree. I think the only thing that I disagree with is that message, if it's going to be made, it has to be complete. And saying there's a bubbler there, there's a bubbler there, there's a bubbler
I
there,
didn't say
otherwise,
that.
no,
I
no,
didn't say that.
I don't think we can do that.
that's the only concern that I'm raising.
Yeah.
My concern is, look, there's whatever, if we give the number or whatever, there's lots of bubblers around. There are other reasons that there might be thin ice. And, you know, one of the things that kind of concerns me is a de-icer is in compliance with the code if it creates no more than 20 feet of open water. That doesn't mean the ice within 100 feet is safe to walk on.
No, it doesn't. I mean, if we got to go back. I would make it illegal to have the icers.
Well, that's a different question.
You know, and really, I mean, it's jeopardizing. The community as a whole and its visitors.
Okay, well, that's a
Yeah.
entirely different
Situation,
question
Yeah,
that is,
that's really, I mean, but that's going way the other way, but I mean, so under New York state law is, you know, the board of trustees is responsible for the overall governance of the village and for ensuring that the local laws and policies are implemented and enforced. That includes our public safety laws related to waterfront and ice conditions.
Sure.
So.
And how do we do
Are we
that?
not enforcing it or
And
not?
how do we do that? How do we do that? We have a code enforcement officer whose job it is to do that. And that's being done.
And that's being done, yeah.
So the question is, would going back to the permitting process help this whole
I'm not sure it would.
thing? Yeah, 'cause
The issuance of the permit is,
Yeah, that's.
the state guidance is very clear that the mayor and the board have the responsibility to enforce village laws. We can't simply ignore a law that is on the books because of an informal past opinion or practice. Or practice. Our duty is either to enforce it or change it through the proper process.
Well,
We
the
can't
person
just
who's
simply, we
enforcing it,
can't
I don't have an
simply
issue
ignore
with
it.
Let's,
I don't
I
have.
didn't want to talk over. You've got requirements. You can enforce these requirements with or without. Sounds like that's been the case since 2013. Whether it helps you administratively to have a permitting system, you know, to track where places have to go to. I don't know, that's an administrative question as to whether your code is, I think, ambiguous enough with respect to permitting. You could probably put it in place without a change. And on the other hand, there's no actual requirement for it. In my opinion. It's ambiguous, in a funny way.
So for 13 years we had it, we permitted. it.
It sounds like for 13 years you
It
have.
sounds like, yeah, it's almost split down in half, yeah.
So I think, you know,
The interpretation in 13 years ago was given, you know, to our CEO and who executed that interpretation.
Right.
And that's where we're at now.
Yeah, so I would actually.
No,
look at it.
Kevin wasn't here.
To me.
I would- To me,
In my discretion,
stays here.
yeah, to me, Kevin is administering the program of reviewing these requirements. If you thought it would be good to have somebody required to have a permit from an administrative standpoint,
my
I
issue
would,
is.
I would defer to the one who's doing the administration.
My issue is when you start doing that with where we're at right now, I'm afraid I'm gonna start getting non-compliance and I'm gonna be chasing after people. Right now, I have almost full compliance, where a few years ago, I was chasing after people. I had the same repeat offender year after year after year, and I had to change it up. So I changed up what I was doing, and like I said to you, instead of year after year, I send the same letter, now it just became an appearance ticket. You already did the same thing, you should have learned. Now you just get the appearance ticket, and the court was fine with that. They went through the process. So now that's the process that we do. You get one letter first year, and then you get the appearance ticket the next year. There is no learning curve. It is what it is. So this person who just got the letter, next year, if they do it again, they're just gonna get the appearance ticket. They've learned their lesson this year, next year they'll get the appearance ticket. If they don't fix it.
Well, what I'm listening to, you prefer moving on as we have been.
That's my preference.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think we do that, but we need to get back to what Phil and Rich were talking about. What's our public safety comment gonna be and who's gonna do that? And Phil made mention to Finger Lakes Times last year. Let's, I'm not saying you have to come up with a message right now, but we need to, you know, Phil needs it, and then I wanna take a look at it, and then we send it out, so.
I think we just repeat, I mean, I think our Times picked it up because
Because of that,
of that.
Well, let's do that again.
So let's just send the email again,
let's do that again.
right?
Whatever you guys.
I mean,
Yeah,
are we in agreement?
yeah.
We sent it last year, should we send it?
Yeah,
Well, it's January, we're right on the cusp of it, it's January
Right.
25th.
It's when I felt safe enough to walk out the public access and that the public accesses were safe. Told you that. That's when I was able to actually walk out and not fall through the ice.
then you know it's, yeah. Okay,
But I'd still go back that if you're inspecting them, you must have a list.
Don't have a list to give you.
it doesn't.
And
I
mean, really.
I'm talking about,
Everything on my computer.
let's not keep, we're in a circle, we'll, you know, if
All
we're
right,
heading
we're
down the
expecting the
road.
moving part, it just seems a
Yeah,
little ridiculous, that's all. It's
yeah.
like, how do we not have a list?
So we're gonna send
We're
out.
doing the
letter.
project, but we don't have one.
We're gonna do what we did
I
last
ask for a
year.
motion to send out that.
Or no, he doesn't, we don't need one.
We don't need it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
communication
Really do
piece.
the same thing she did
Probably
last
should
year.
do, like, you did something last year.
Yeah, and obviously, any change wouldn't happen here anyways. This is this isn't the board that deals with this. It's gonna be, I believe it goes to.
It goes to zoning, and if there's gonna be changes to the docks. and
Yeah,
boarding,
this
so-
wouldn't, you know what I mean? But the communication piece is, and I think that's why Phil brought it up, is, yeah, I like that idea.
Mhm.
All right,
What I don't like is we don't know where they are, or we're saying we don't know where they are. And there is, to sit here and say there's not a list when there is, it's just a little ridiculous. I just don't think it's right.
noted. Okay, so, going on to, Rich, anything else?
No, oh, that's good for me.
Okay, we've also had a month to think about, sidewalk snow removal discussion. And I think, yeah, look at that, and just we brainstorm, look at both sides, and then same thing, we need to decide what we're gonna do moving forward. We've had a month to do it. You guys have been doing, spending a lot of time. We've had equipment here, trying some things out. Which I
We
think
had
is
the
cool.
equipment, and I think a lot of it was about 12 grand or 15 grand a year to rent.
Yeah, if we want to do it.
So- I mean, I've been looking at stuff online and I found a used one. The guy wanted 45,000, he went to 37. And now he said he'd go to 30 today. There was a snow blower, the V-blade,
Yeah.
a salter on the back.
Small.
It's got like 265 hours on it, it's like literally brand new. So I wouldn't rent them because in 2 years,
Sure, 36,000.
and we own it and we can use it whenever we want. It also has a PTO.
Yeah.
So that we could do other things possibly with it. You could also cut the side of the grass with it, right? The side of the roads.
Yeah.
So there's-
I think to a certain
there's a
extent,
lot of
I don't know
options
if we're
there.
gonna say.
I showed you,
Yeah.
the picture. So if you want to. But I got them down $7,500 a day.
Well, one of the issues that I think needs to be addressed here also is the sidewalks are owned by the village. Correct? Nobody disputes that, right? That's true.
I mean, it's our property, right?
Right, the sidewalks are village property, so that there is an obligation. You can weigh in if you like. Village has an obligation to clear the sidewalks.
I had,
And similar to a street.
Yeah.
And there are liability questions that arise because of that. Which,
I had
We don't really
your
need to talk
sidewalk
about.
code, so.
okay, well,
So.
The
I don't know
sidewalk
if you're
code-
requiring
well,
the
the
property owner to do it.
No.
All right.
no, the maintenance obligation is not. The maintenance and the tort obligation is not transferred to the adjacent property owner. Which, there's been some talk of potentially doing that, and to me. Particularly the tort liability, well, both the tort liability and the maintenance question become very difficult in a community like ours where. Say half the people who might have sidewalks in front of their houses aren't here during the time that they'd be required to. They'd be burdened with the maintenance obligation.
And the other half
To
are
move it.
elderly.
Yeah, well, there's that.
You know, have to be.
But. I mean, basically what it ends up being is. Everybody would have to. Theoretically contract with somebody to do it every time there's a snowfall. It's, it's like a snow plowing type of thing for each individual house that might have a sidewalk in front of it. So I don't, in my opinion, I don't think transferring that liability and that maintenance obligation to the adjacent property owner to that sidewalk makes sense here. I know it's been done I think the town of Sodas.
They're plowing their own.
So Tim Strickland, who was in the town of Ontario, reached out to me a couple days ago. Because he was inquiring about what John was driving there to clean the sidewalks, because they had AP Enterprise do it in the town of Ontario for the last 5 years. So they signed contracts for $40,000 just for so many trips. Last year, they spent 70,000.
But that's just the town doing it, correct?
Yes, all
Okay.
the sidewalks in the town. They
Right.
spent 70 grand.
So it's not, and so there is also, it's not the responsibility of the adjacent. property
No,
owner to do
no,
it.
yeah, they take care of it for them.
Yeah,
And the whole thing with us is we have the time, because there is, when these guys get done plowing, there's downtime. And we have the time to take that machine that I got right there or something like that and go clean the sidewalks.
So if we do.
It's not gonna cost us any more labor.
Right, right. If we do decide to purchase and not lease, is there protocol?
Oh, yeah.
To look at different equipment? What do we, because is that 30, what'd you say, 30,000?
That's the cheap, that's cheap.
Yes, you would need to do.
Yeah, we can't just purchase.
Request.
RFP.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
get that, but-
spec it out what you wanted to do.
No, it's a good base.
So we take a look and it's a good deal.
Are we trapped in buying new equipment because of that stipulation, or can we buy used?
I'd
We
buy
can
it.
buy units, sure, yeah.
And
So I just want to know that,
So how do
you know,
we-
what's the process?
Unless there's like a state bid equivalent, I don't.
do we gotta buy it through like a company or can we buy it off Facebook through like an individual that this guy has a plowing
I
service?
mean, how do we do three bids on a used piece of equipment? You know, to find three identical
Well,
used pieces of
No,
equipment.
we don't need to do that. We just need to, you would need to send out, look, we're interested in acquiring a sidewalk. A machine to clear a sidewalk.
That'd be a request for proposal.
Right.
And then so there, it's not just based on price, it would be based on, one might be a 2010 model versus a 2022, and the prices are different, and
So are we making it?
as long as we have a
Making a model then?
reason
And
for
then-
why.
No,
like,
no.
It's just gotta be the perfect size. Side.
you just-
Yeah, but I mean,
It can't be over bigger, it can't be too small, it's gotta be sidewalk.
right, well, I mean, then I think you take into consideration, I mean, whatever proposals come in. And, you know, if you.
I mean, on this-
As long as you document your selection.
If we have a source
Mhm.
already,
Make sure they
Doesn't-
copy the RFP.
right, so we make sure that they get a copy of the potential proposal with that, I mean, so we can't just go out and buy a piece of equipment like that, we gotta figure it out.
It's that much. money.
So how do we buy a used one though? Because you're never gonna get apples and apples. It's always gonna be highly variable. How do you- what are the
You would
parameters?
do a request for proposals, you would have a specification as to what you want. If you would, in the request for proposals, you would include there what criteria you would be evaluating the proposals on, because since it's an RFP, you're basing the selection not solely on price. There's price, if you got used, you might be looking at different ages and conditions.
I mean, new ones,
It would be essentially a,
2010.
yeah,
It's new.
and it needs to have this type of functionality.
And we can make that interpretation ourselves if we get like a couple different years.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
just gotta make sure when you do the RFP that the criteria for selection is clear.
Right.
It doesn't have to be.
Do we gotta wait a whole month to decide this, or can we present it to everyone prior? Because I mean, if you gotta use one out there, it's a good deal, it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? I mean.
Yeah, but I don't know if,
I mean, we gotta wait a whole month.
That's where I say we're kind of,
We're kind of.
you're kind of trapped with.
So then you're gonna buy a new,
Yeah,
well,
you're gonna
not,
pay double.
yeah.
So, I
Decide.
don't know if that's something you
Well,
wanna.
Well, we gotta decide, first of all, passing it.
I mean, I think that.
So what's been the feedback?
I
Has
think
there
that
been
John
any?
and I- hold on.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's been feedback. I wanted, because John's been doing it. Obviously, I'm a walker and initially I thought it was a good idea, but then as the mayoral hat on, you got like different ideas because now I work about budget and things of that nature, you know what I mean? So I've got like just a list of, for safety, allows for walking, looks good. And I think we have the manpower. I think that was mentioned, that was the plus.
Less complaints, so we have any complaints about doing it?
A couple, but nothing major. One was who decides what sidewalks get done, because some sidewalks aren't getting done. We had complaints from some businesses and not not because they don't think it's a good idea, but just the, the snow that we had, when you do a plow, you leave a little bit of
Edge.
build up edge, right in front of, buildings. Those are just,
I know, I live in the city of Rochester, and when they do the plowing, they leave about an inch or two somewhat packed. And that, when you have a thaw and then it freezes, that becomes solid ice, and it's an adventure to walk.
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, like a snow blower that.
So there's
Those are better, those are better.
Yeah,
These
but
are
it's
sidewalk
smaller.
plows.
You kind of need both.
Why don't we make a motion that-
Sometimes you gotta blow, sometimes.
He's qualified,
Depends on-
I'm qualified. Why don't we make the decision together and give us a budgetary amount of money we can spend?
I'm not. I'm not sure because the amount of money that we're talking about spending, there are requirements as to how that has to be done,
Right.
right? I mean,
If you're looking at 30 grand or something.
yeah,
you would
like
need to have-
there has to be, we can't just go out and spend that. Kind of the way we were looking at all the different
You
proposals.
can't
for
sole
the-
source it, you would need to at least send it
Yeah.
out for a bid.
Just, I'd be willing to rent it short term to kind of.
Like a month, but he's worried about losing.
Why
What other options do we have to purchase something that may be, unique in itself and?
I mean, the only thing we do
good
is
value for-
Rent something for now and buy something this summer.
If there's an expenditure over a certain amount of money, it's gotta go through these particular
Yeah.
procedures in order to spend it.
Yeah. Why don't we just run something for the season? And then we can go ahead and buy something over the summer.
Yeah.
Because over the summer, nobody's gonna want
I think we can
it. Because
decide.
then we can buy used.
Right,
new.
I think we can decide that after we make a determination whether we're gonna even do this. We have to first, as a board, decide that we're gonna do this moving forward, and then, but I think that's a good idea.
To
That if
do,
we
to do what?
Actually,
Snowplow or not.
Yeah.
Snow.
Yeah.
Snow.
I just-
So how many, yes, how many people are for it? Like, how many villagers are excited that the sidewalks are plowed and we're happy about it? I mean, Tracy, you walk all the time.
I-
You like it?
I think more,
No.
for than against, but it's, but
I mean, with all that
it's blended.
I-
It's blended.
I had two people say that they were excited about it.
Yeah.
But
We don't get it.
our sidewalks
We
are
don't get it.
not complete anyway. And so when you walk on our sidewalks, you get bumped out into the road no matter what. Because if you walk around one block, you have sidewalks, you have uneven sidewalks, you have to cross over, you have to, and then with this, some of the sidewalks were being done, some of them were not. There were humongous snowplow mounds around it, so you had to go around. So, I mean, to me,
Well, we just didn't have a
I
system.
walk in the road,
Yeah, can I just add to, I know we talked, from
Sure.
an operational standpoint, it's totally doable for us. Like Phil said, if we're a little bit behind it and we get all the snow piled up, that's why some of the stuff didn't get done.
Yeah, we were a month.
Some of the
behind.
questions, which ones would get done, which ones wouldn't get done. I think everything down from the four corners, we can fit on and we can get there, minus maybe. There's another animal shot there with the design of the sidewalk, I'm not sure exactly, but we might not be able to fish our way through there, but that's a very small section.
Right.
And there's a crosswalk, I mean, just if that answers some questions that people watching, may have,
Did
it's,
you guys try that snow blower on the one?
yeah, I don't know if it was a little underpowered or it kept clogging up. I tried it the one day and the snow was a little heavy and I made it from the church to the end of the church parking lot. And I had to go back, so, but that's what it was about. We were down.
There's somebody down here that
And
snow
the-
plows.
wear and tear on
Yeah.
sidewalks and these.
I think you gotta talk both sides.
Issue here too.
Yeah,
We come to make a statement.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Snowmobiles on the sidewalk, they're not supposed to be on the sidewalks. It's cutting into the surface of the sidewalk, so it's deteriorating them. So there's the clubs, the snowmobile clubs that put signs up, no snowmobiles on the sidewalks. A lot of the arguments that you hear from people that come into the village, they don't know where the sidewalks are. Because the snow is covering everything. So how do we enforce not getting on sidewalks
That's true.
if they don't even know where the sidewalks are?
Well, if we do, if we plow them, then
So
they're
if
not
we
gonna.
keep a sidewalk.
Well, that's what he's trying to say.
It's clear to them
Yeah,
where they should not be. And that goes along with the infrastructure of Our village.
No, that machine
Sidewalks
got, we did
last
last
20 years
sidewalk
ago.
over
To
here.
replace them all.
It ate up the.
Now,
the
I do
eight
clear my sidewalk.
to
A
two
lot of
lines.
people approach me and say, thank you.
Yeah, I should.
I mean, that was when that's where I walked. There was a line all the way down that sidewalk and then the ADA pad was shredded everywhere. So, I mean,
So it's, there's pros and cons.
We had it too. so-
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's just pros and cons. It's a, obviously it's gonna be a budgetary item, right, yearly.
How do you feel about that?
Well, initially I was a walker and I told you, I like the idea, I like the look. But I don't want it to be something that we're starting to destroy things and, I'm kind of caught, to be honest with you, I think instinctively because I'm a walker, it's safer. I mean, for me.
I see people walking the road because they couldn't walk.
Right.
Inside, you know what I mean? So that's.
Well, which raises other liability concerns.
Well, I was gonna ask you, is this what attorney's sitting here?
in the summertime.
Some of the bad
The
sidewalks.
bad sidewalks,
True.
the stuff that hangs down, the bushes that are out halfway onto the sidewalk, I mean, I
Sometimes you
keep on
gotta
going.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, or there's no sidewalk.
But let's make it a term, let's do that, and then we can do that. If that's the case, that we're
So
gonna.
what do
move
we need a
forward.
motion if we're gonna plow sidewalks or not?
Do we?
Yeah.
I motion we.
Yeah,
cross sidewalks.
because that's expensive.
Well, I-
You're gonna,
Either
that's an
we plow
annual
or we,
expense.
either we stumble. 29.
The way I look at it is and correct me if I'm wrong, but the village, it's the village's sidewalks, and they have an obligation to maintain them. And if they are for public access, that will include removing snow and ice. And if you're trying to transfer that tort liability over to the adjacent property owner, it would include the obligation to remove the snow and the ice from the sidewalks,
But so
which is
with that,
currently the villages.
with that statement though, you're making the statement that we will have to do every single sidewalk.
And we got,
But
we got.
it's not a question
Right?
whether the board says
We
you
got the
should or not.
Well, I'm saying like it should be all.
We got the time to do every sidewalk.
We do have time, there is things that I'll stick up here.
I mean, it's a-
Obligation to do it.
Hold on, looking at that job size. So what,
We have the time.
Yeah, we have the time. There is some sidewalks though that like,
14 by
so, yeah, and stuff like that, that they're just too small. Those, that's a whole sidewalk. It's really small. I kind of went in there a little bit with one of the machines we had and I was making an absolute mess.
Okay.
Um,
So certain ones you can't.
yeah,
so
so
they're
it's,
under 4 foot.
that's- like I said, from an operational standpoint, we have the time to do it if we have the right equipment and stuff like that. I'm fine with it, but.
I mean, for that
That's
one,
why
so
we're
it's
spending money in the.
we should cover.
Yeah.
Call to our insurance company.
Well,
I mean, I feel like I should.
So now we got snowmobiles riding across there because they don't know where they can go.
If I-
Yeah, it was a good point. That was a good point.
That's
probably not I think there's a question, if you maintain it, then what's your maintenance obligation, right? Is it?
well, I mean,
Like city of Rochester again, now they push it off on the property owner. It's greater after it's 2 inches or something. 4 inches. If it's over 4, they will come and plow it. But there's still the obligation on the landowner.
Yeah,
yeah, but that's.
We don't
done
want
by
city
code.
roads.
That's done by code.
That's
which-
the-
You don't want.
But I'm talking, I'm talking more about not what the code says we have to do or what the board says we have to do, but. If somebody slips and falls on a sidewalk that's not clear. The village is getting sued. And it's the village's responsibility to make sure the sidewalk's clear, if it's a sidewalk.
I think there's also a question what clear it means, right?
Or-
It doesn't mean,
True.
it doesn't mean dry, merely wet. right?
No, but I mean, if there's a broken sidewalk, somebody trips over it. It's a village problem, and it's the same as.
If you guys notice it.
Right, if it snows and the sidewalks aren't clear or the streets aren't clear within a reasonable time after the cessation of the storm.
I think Rich has been saying this the last couple meetings here, so we've got a motion up, I'll second the motion that we go out of sidewalks.
But
We already have a motion up, I mean, we gotta.
Yeah, and I think we're spending, part of this is, a budgetary thing, I think we should do that. We should
And we're gonna rent one for the rest of the season, that's the whole thing.
We can,
So we gotta determine if we're gonna do it.
right, and then we get further discussion. All right,
Rich has said it. I mean, that's what I'm getting, are you saying we're liable to do it or not?
I'm saying whether the board says,
It's
whether the
unspoken
board
already.
make a motion and says we're gonna clear sidewalks or not. There's a responsibility to do it.
We're gonna get
Legal
sued,
responsibility.
if we don't. do
I
it.
think, I think if you, let's say conceptually you want to maintain the sidewalks.
Right.
I think
You
you
can
need to under,
just
I
do
think you need to understand what requirement of maintenance you're undertaking.
Yeah.
So clear, okay, you want to clear it, you had a suggestion of, contacting your insurer and saying, what. From a liability standpoint,
And also,
do-
Kevin, I think,
Yeah.
that isn't there like the code, we don't have the proper code for it,
It's,
right?
it's, Rich and I have talked about it, Rich has a different opinion than I do.
Okay.
I wrote the one for the Village of Sodas that said we passed it off to the property owners, like the way it says in the city of Rochester. It says that it's the property owner's responsibility that.
That's in Sodas.
In Sodas. I
Not
wrote
here,
it.
right?
Correct.
you have a unique situation.
That's
You have
different.
a unique-
You don't
We
have,
got half our population not
you
here.
don't have it here. Right here, you have a defect notice. You have to give notice to the clerk for defect prior to any liability. I wanted to put in the code that we push tort liability over to the property owner. So if you're plowing it and we don't salt it, it's the property owner's fault.
The village of Sodas is following, I see it on their site.
Correct, and if we miss something, so the whole idea is, let's say we don't get to Gaylord Street. Because there's that snowstorm and somebody calls Karen says, sorry, call the property owner. It says in the book, it's their responsibility. We do it on our time when we get to it. Because
Which we
I
would.
think that's what I mean by what does maintaining the sidewalk
So we
mean?
haven't
Is there
changed
a
the
time
motion that
frame?
we.
Is there a certain amount of snow?
Motion is parameter.
What if snow melts and there's ice? I mean, I think.
Because
Well, no,
the road would be number one priority.
no, but create the parameter. Let's motion that we're gonna do the sidewalk. with
Agreed,
parameters.
what's the duty of care that you're taking?
Maybe
And-
we've got a lot of things. we need to-
Yeah, I mean, there's issues we gotta work through here.
Yeah, I think that's what the point is. I think, I think if conceptually you want to plow the sidewalk, that's the big picture question.
Mhm.
If the answer is yes, then I think you need to define what does it mean to maintain sidewalks more specifically. Or what's your standard that you're gonna plow, what you're gonna try to do, given the.
Broken tax, insurance
Can I?
I think getting input from the insurer
would be good.
prudent.
I didn't think about
No, I just wanted to add to that too,
Yeah.
something to think about for you guys. I talked to Patty a little when you were going through that list of pros and cons and, that's gonna be the least priority, obviously, is the sidewalks, they're gonna come last. I don't know if this is a conversation for this. Where we have on a weekend, say we have a big snowstorm. Are we paying extra manpower
Yes, they will
to
expect,
do the sidewalk,
Yes.
Saturday, Sunday,
yes.
is somebody staying back an extra 2 hours, because my calculations, it's gonna be a couple hours. I don't know if that's gonna be, that's some stuff to think about.
Are we paying
It's
4
not
hours?
saying we don't wanna do it, but
Yeah, do you pay a minimum OT?
yeah, 2 hours, that's about what it takes to do. I mean, depending on how much snow,
Mhm.
we're a little over 2 hours to do everything, like that, get done a little over.
Are some guys working late at night and then taking the time off?
Usually if anybody is, guys come in early in the morning and then, they do leave,
Right. Adjusting hours.
Yeah.
I think.
I just want to put that out there, I don't,
I guess there's other
that
people.
goes along with what is our responsibility to
No, I think
maintain that
that's
standard,
it.
so that would be good.
We're hearing both, but it's something that we gotta decide on,
Well, it's a little confusing because, I mean, Rich has said it twice that, there are
Maybe we
times
don't-
we're obligated.
yeah.
So that's why he made a motion, I second it, so.
We were just wondering, maybe we don't, do you need to do that? Do you need to do a motion or not?
I-
He's
He's saying we don't, so I
Yeah.
mean,
That's like saying you need the board to decide whether we're gonna plow the street.
That's what he said, that's the parallel, yeah, that's.
So we need to know if
Was it
we move
for
forward,
fall
buying, start looking into buying.
I think
Yeah,
Well,
Okay, we clear the sign.
I think what we're trying to figure out is, are we gonna look forward into buying a machine and waste our
Well,
time?
we gotta.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, we gotta start with, like, are we gonna do it or we not?
Are we committed to doing this?
Yeah, it's.
That's the discussion.
I motion that we start clearing the side.
And we don't need emotions, we're obligated.
Feels like an emphasis, right? So,
Yeah.
I think that's all that I'm not.
So are we gonna waste our time looking into these machines or we're gonna just forget about it?
I think that's the kind of thing we need a motion to do.
the legal.
No,
points
we
are-
definitely need that, yeah.
In order to satisfy the obligation.
Let's make a motion to create an RFP
We definitely need to do that.
for buy a machine. I motion that we create an RFP to buy a sidewalk machine to service our sidewalk as per our obligation.
I second.
All in favor?
I,
Um,
Any opposed? Yeah, carried. So that, he's one, hey, I'm just, and I don't think anybody was really certain. I wasn't sure whether you needed a motion going forward to do the sidewalks, but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's
maybe
kind
not.
of- we had to figure out if we had to do it or.
If you
we wanted
do,
to do it, then we-
It's a time.
We'll address that, yeah,
Even
later.
if we come up with some new information,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, whenever we could say, okay, we're done.
So in the meantime, we do have these quotes and that, and we could, and we have these demo machines, do we want to run one for the next 1.5 months or not?
Yeah, whatever.
I'd like to talk to those guys so we get a better deal.
on the rental.
Mhm.
Well,
That's a lot
I
of
mean,
money.
that's also an expenditure that we probably have to do an RFP
It's
for
a lot of money, yeah.
So it's, I think.
Well, we got the bids,
What's that?
we have bids, we have 3 bids as
They
required.
were
Oh, we do.
25.
Actually, I contacted 10 companies because I wasn't sure we had equipment and didn't, so.
Okay, so we have 3 bids for rental.
Oh, yeah, at least 3, we got one.
All right, well, I mean, maybe we should,
So you put out a, you put out a.
Yeah, we got one.
We still don't know what the best is.
yeah,
But this is just to finish the season.
Did,
Wait,
did
wait,
you,
wait,
did you send out a request for bid with the same specs?
No.
No, but we actually ended
You
up
need to
with,
do that.
we ended up with the same.
Yeah, you need to, like, here's what we want, please bid on it.
and hey, when did, you got the bids like a month ago?
You got them a new packet, it was 10 of them,
Last month?
yeah.
Yeah, so they may be, it may cost us less to rent one for,
1 month.
Well,
last month.
it was by the.
oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we had 2 of the
We still got them.
power machines here.
Yeah, but that's the machine that's tearing everything up and,
Right, it's not good.
yeah, I kind of wish I had a little more notice to know that this was on the agenda, so I could have got some more information about what machines they had left, or if they still have the ones that they quoted us on.
Well, again.
Yeah, well, the ones who couldn't quote it. Gave us a no bid.
Yeah,
Yeah, they gave us a no bid. I contacted 10 different manufacturers, 10 different suppliers in Western New York and.
So that machine is theirs. That's.
It's only the people who had equipment bid it
Mhm.
for the rental for the season.
All right, we're gonna look for
Yeah.
all prices and.
So we got to create an FRP or RFP and you've got all the emails. Everybody emailed their stuff and so.
Yeah,
We can advertise it and contact all the vendors again. I think I was pretty comprehensive. I didn't leave.
Yeah, I just.
Procedural. It sounds like they got it, but I mean, it has to be like, okay, whoever's gonna bid, here's what we want.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody's been on the same.
same thing, yeah.
Well, those just rental too, but now
Well, whatever.
we made.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Whatever.
rental of this equipment with these.
Yeah, what was it?
specifications.
I don't recall.
And if you can spec it out,
Any-
give me this, you don't need a
22
proposal.
with the
Do it in
machine attached.
15 days and.
They were all rated
Yeah.
high range,
Not
they're not really way lower hires.
If your spec is such that you can just. Award a price for them, that can be.
All right, we'll work on it.
Yeah, I think what it came down to when we got sent 2 machines for demo, there was some, they were smaller machines. It was
So you have a sense of what the price.
Yeah.
is, right? So
Yeah.
I think, and so you might need a motion like to purchased it up to a certain,
Right.
Well, this was just the lease end of it. It wasn't
well, lease.
the rent. It was not even lease. Rent.
Did we make them
Yeah, we probably should. So
to rent?
why don't we
Lease it?
move, I'll make a motion
Like up to
that we,
certain amount.
yeah, well, before we move. What were the numbers monthly? Do you remember?
22, 25.
22 to 2,500 a month.
It was cheap.
Not to exceed 27.
Right, yeah, so
Let me go get my folder from.
Thanks, Tracy.
I'm sure we can negotiate with somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And then, it's,
I haven't seen.
It's in the book, it's, if you grab it.
Whether the superintendent.
That's all
decided
this is.
already.
No, it doesn't matter, it has the most, I think it has the most recent policy.
Yeah, this is good.
Did you write it out? Philip? Was it an email?
Plus with the, it's on the next page.
They average about
Is it
2,000
15?
to 2,500.
Rewritten or faxed, but
That was the green one. The Martins was the green one we had, and then MTE equipment was the other model of export. They had demos and were willing to send them to us
Kevin, I had one.
free of charge.
Sorry, the,
so request for quote for elite three.
yeah, and that should be the same as what he's reading right now.
Okay.
So would that suffice? Because I sent requests for quote to 3 people or 10 people actually.
I mean, I think at this
Those
point.
10 got the same,
Yeah,
so if you
We
said,
have a quote with
give me a price on this.
Wait,
So,
we had full what was available.
So then technically,
Ended up being
we
safe.
have the proposals that we just need to go back and say is still. We need to choose from those with a little.
I'd like to look-
Back and forth.
I'd like to look a little bit into a better machine. And then negotiate a contract.
So MTE was the benchmark viewer.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that sent up the giant loader.
One of them.
That one down.
All right, well then, working, that's what it was too, you know,
Right.
be. Well, that's why, like I said, we were getting more of it. I know for, you told me it doesn't have a contract.
Actually, your procurement policy allows a purchase. Second.
Allows what?
Purchase of second-hand or surplus goods from any source.
But still requires the RFP.
No,
Oh, it doesn't
Really?
it's an exception to a competitive bid.
There we go.
Well, this machine right here is the best machine for $30,000. I can tell you that right now. I've done my research.
Did we have?
We started at 45 grand.
Else spend?
that's what I know of, yeah. It's,
What are we doing with all this? savings,
We're
man?
halfway through the bit here.
yeah, we got about 4.5 months to go.
We're gonna go from,
Where does all the extra savings money go?
Well, we could pull.
What is highway sitting on for reserve right now?
Yeah,
Two,
$200.
something, yeah.
So we'll take like 50.
Hold on, wait, there's an, let me make sure. Trixie's book isn't updated differently.
This is from 1993.
Yeah. There's not, I'm looking at.
You can go higher, if anything, it's higher, so.
Yeah, I see a 2016 amendment on our website, so let me make sure Tracy's book stores and. Because our website has a 2016. What do you have, Pat? What do you have?
I just put it away, because
Your
you guys.
procurement policy,
Yeah.
what do your procurement
All
policy?
fighters, 3 loaders, and loaded.
But these are, they go rental of the.
Yeah, these were the new machines, right? These are the.
Yeah.
I guess our
So what
question
is,
is, I think it's more what went out to. It's
Right, it's not.
It's not my question.
Well, it did because
My question is,
I requested under a 48-inch wide machine, which kind of drove what the machine was in based on horsepower. As this, the wider they get, the bigger they get, the more horsepower. So I eliminated to 48 inches and under. Their system was 27 horsepower category.
And what was bid, is it clear it's like apples to apples?
Yeah, so what I did is I asked for a product and cycle, and some good broken out.
Okay.
For each piece, and that's some just included.
But we ran,
We wanted a functioning need file.
And you have the documentation of all of them.
Yeah, but I thought, I emailed them.
so if we run 2 years, it's cost.
Yeah.
I heard him say
Yeah,
something.
And they're not really.
This guy here gave us a non-vetted.
If you could.
I mean, that sounds like we could be on
But
this.
they gotta, well, they gotta look, see if they got the most up to date policy.
That's 1993.
Yeah, we had 3 9/11s, so we didn't have any equipment.
Which is on these.
What do we got in the budget?
That have the same.
There's
I guess it's the-
$330,000 in highway equipment reserve, which is, you can have to put it out, you know,
Do
through
a
the whole process.
permissive referendum or whatever.
And so we got it.
Very good, or what's the process?
Permissive project.
And a notice of,
It's a
referendum. and you gotta wait 30 days.
And if anybody,
Oh, after
then anybody objects to it, then.
You can go ahead and purchase it,
Yes.
but it's time and pick.
Maybe. April, but
Will be in next week. Is that all of them though?
I believe so. I have to go through my emails, but we had 4 places that had equipment that bid, and we had 3 that said they did not have any exact like equipment.
That's also.
I asked for machines that were 48 inches or under around.
Yeah, it sounds like the right amount though.
So maybe we can just keep on calling around and get demos for the rest of these. Right? One's good demos for us.
We had 5 bid and 3.
I'll call Ed.
Well, this guy talking about, we're gonna be one of them.
That's the one that.
I call my guy at Ed Marcus.
We shall.
No, we don't want
Just
to.
reach out to Ed.
Yes, I stopped it.
Yeah.
They didn't have interesting.
Yeah.
Special code books around.
We're going through dates.
Yeah, we
Right.
Bob and codes, you can find them for anything.
Well, obviously, it's big in a matter today, they're not gonna get it.
Unless we were.
I don't think we should run any of those equipment that we had. So. I think we gotta look at something else. I'm sorry.
Let's
I
look.
think that's right, the machine, I mean, I didn't have to, right, so.
I mean, when I looked at the dust on.
Well, I mean,
this one,
you can make a, you can have a policy that's more restrictive than.
That's right, so.
So this is.
Steiner was the
This is
originator of
good.
that machine, they sold out, it became contract, and Steiner went back.
One oh three is the difference.
Steiner just got bought out by Bobcat, but they stopped making. But they're very hydraulically efficient and, they're to go to like, big campus machines like colleges use them, hospitals. You know, anybody with a big campus, a lot of sidewalks. They switch back and forth, they mow, they blow snow.
I think the guy that had this thing, I think he had a contract for sidewalks and he must have lost. But it's still sitting in the shop.
This is okay.
Okay.
Lots to do.
All right, as far as-
The numbers look about right, but there's gaps and there's crosstalk.
Alright, so is that what we're gonna do then? We're not gonna get it by then. Anyway. We won't have it by then.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have it tomorrow or the next week. It's gonna be spring.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to probably look for something around. Or I'll see if I can get some tryouts.
So. If you talk to Jeff Robeson and
another
FDU,
trial to maybe get through this year.
Well, Jeff Robeson from MTE, they gave us a giant for demo. He's constantly, they're a contract dealer in Buffalo and in here in Rochester, so. He may.
I'm sure we'll work something out with somebody.
So let's,
I'll call.
I
Ed
think we
Marcus.
need to demo one of those.
Yeah.
But there isn't a lot of options in that category. So.
I mean, I could ask that guy to do that.
So we'll proceed that way, looked at demo
Yeah,
and it might.
look at demo.
Another month or 6 weeks.
Get us through the season.
Yeah, we'll find out the procurement and,
Somebody.
you know, down the road, we need to purchase it.
Well, if we go through in the summer time, we're gonna be able to buy them probably.
Get it a little cheaper, yeah.
Yeah. Once it's even over.
Yeah.
We're gonna want it through.
Okay.
All right, thank you for the discussion. We got.
So we can buy a used one, we just gotta go through.
Well, actually, you can buy a used one without a competitive bidding.
Right,
Oh,
we
yeah.
gotta have the.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Tracy, do we have anything not in the reserve funds? Do we have enough money not in the reserve funds that we can pull from?
Not,
Not this calendar. No.
I would say no. No.
Is the savings account money, is that being added into all the giving?
Family money in this general fund we can utilize.
Oh, we're making $5,800 a month on
The
savings,
interest,
interest money. Where does that go?
I just go for
City revenue.
yeah, just revenue account.
So that's on unreserved, we could utilize it.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of unreserved. Reserve where you have to do a permissive referendum. You know. That's what she's looking at.
Like how much money do we have in unreserved unallocated funds right now?
Through in November. It's 700,000, it's unreserved.
But out of that, we gotta pay payroll and all the other bills, right?
Right, you gotta.
So we're saying that we're gonna use when we did our budget this year, we said we were gonna use 70,000.
Where you use 70,000 for what?
To meet the budget.
Yeah.
The gap.
The gap for that calendar year, and that includes, obviously, there's three
So that's
budgets,
630.
the general fund, the water and the wastewater. Ends up being a gap of $70,000.
So we got 630,000, so under a year.
Well, yeah, possibly, plus other things that happen throughout the year, you know, you have a $20,000,
Oh,
not slush fund, but what do you call that 20,000?
Contingent.
Contingent, you know, and we've already used 30 or 13 or 14 of that, and we have 5 months left to go, you know, so there's a good chance we're gonna go through that. So,
so we could take the 30,000 and buy it out of that fund if we wanted.
We could, but it might leave us short at the other end.
just.
Can we do that and then do a permissive referendum to refund that money out of the reserve fund?
No,
Referendum, so. just-
it's on the purchase, yeah.
Yes, you have to specifically say where, what it is. That be on each.
Okay. Back to the,
So what's our next move?
We're trying to get a free base, trying to work out a deal. Have somebody loan us one.
yeah, I think moving forward this year, that might be the best thing, just see if we can, for a month or try another one out and then, go through this process of possibly purchasing one, or maybe another one comes up or whatever, you know, the board can.
And we're gonna start we're gonna start working on budget session,
Yeah, soon, so
gonna be soon.
that's that kind of.
Or do we start the process for the permissive referendum for it? If we got the money sitting in reserves and that's the budget we want to set for it, and then we
We
set
can do
get
it,
the request for proposal done. You know,
Yeah.
we may miss that one, but there might be, you know, then we
Right.
can go shopping.
Yeah,
So do you want to,
Or it could go in the discuss, because by the time we do that, then it could go, I guess, depends on where you want. We also have to discuss the truck, where the money is going from, for the truck, because that part of that amount was gonna come out of there for the highway truck.
that's what, well,
So,
that
New
we're,
dump truck.
the dump truck.
right, we have a meeting, in regards to that. John and I do,
I would be there too.
oh, good. Tuesday,
Tuesday 10.
so we'll have a little more information about that. I don't wanna, make a determination.
I'm kind of leaning forward that we don't get the truck.
Yeah, we're gonna like take a look at,
Right.
what the costs are now versus when we got the thing ordered. That just more data, more information, I think we can make a good decision
They
there.
can give it to us sometime.
I think our equipment's in shape.
So,
So Tracy, what was the original, and when we were gonna buy this truck, was it slowly breaking it, we're gonna bond part of it and pay for part of it? Or
We
what
will
was?
decide that at a later time.
It's 190 some thousand.
That's too many.
yeah, and I was just
Is
brainstorming,
bond the right term? We're gonna bond it.
take half from the, the fund that she just mentioned, and then half of
One of
possible
the
low
other
interest.
things that we've done is, just so we're not depleting the
Yeah.
entire reserve fund.
Yeah,
We use some.
But that, I guess we'll know that would require the permissive
no more, yeah,
referendum and all that as well.
Yeah.
So that's.
So.
but that would be the same piece of pie that we'd be grabbing from, so
We're gonna do-
I'm glad she mentioned that, 'cause that's something we gotta look at.
And the budget year begins when now?
It's, it ends May 31st.
May 31st.
2006, 2027.
But we have to have our budget completely set by our April meeting,
Right.
and it is January, so.
That's why I was saying, you
It has
should
to
be able to do it hopefully in a couple sessions, Tracy's, this is my first go around. You've
What
that's
does it-
your been through it.
We're talking budget, just a little off topic. What do we have to do if we have to raise sewer rents or water bills? What's the process?
I think it was just providing notices. Yeah. Just another thing that, we will be looking at as we go through the process, all of this.
How's the revenue for this period? Did we make more money? Other things will be in.
Yes,
Right,
I
property.
can answer that. I don't know where
Yeah.
Tracy knows her revenue.
Or money projects.
What do you,
I don't know the question.
Well, now that things are being read properly on the water meters, are we making a little more revenue, or is it
I would imagine
revenue's gone up, or is it
Some.
gone down?
maybe they.
so as of November. This.
You're talking about water revenue, right?
Yeah, water revenue,
Water,
because now things are being read properly, and
Also,
sewer is always the same price, right?
no,
It's been $100.
no, the more you use, once you go over 18,000
I
gallons,
think it's a certain,
then it's 180.
Oh, with your water bill tells you.
Yeah, your water bill meters your sewer.
Okay.
right now, we have. Our revenue. For water. Is. We said we were going to bring in. 388,000 in revenue for water, and we've brought in 194. Here, this is through November with this half of the budget year. So we're exactly.
Right, halfway in there.
We're exactly where
you
we
thought,
wanted to be.
okay. Well, it's good to know.
But we don't know if it went up from last month.
Maybe the last 6 months, we might see a bit of a gain, but I don't think it's gonna be a windfall, but it would be a good gain, though.
But I will.
Yeah.
say, So then for our expenditures through November, so the total is 445,000. We've have spent 193,000, so we're at 56% remaining.
That's good. Sure.
Some of
That's
them-
good.
some
Do the
of
math
them-
there, is it?
Yeah.
Some lines look better than others. But
Yeah.
That's water.
Tracy, I thought I saw in the budget one time there was $53,000 in a sidewalk fund. And then I looked at it, it wasn't there.
Straight 1,000.
The reserve,
Is that what it was, a reserve fund for sidewalks?
54,000, 54,800.
$54,000 and that's reserve, it's not. Fund we can get to.
reserve. But for sidewalk,
Was that just somewhere we're parking money or were we planning on doing a big sidewalk project?
well,
Figure it out.
so we started putting money away just because you can't use, like, you can't use CHIPS money, and so it was just something that we started to do because of projects and sidewalks that need to be, you know, the ones that are uneven and need
You
to
can
be
see
fixed.
this.
Trees that need to be removed.
So we can get, so it sounds like we're poised to get our sidewalks tuned up so that we could plow them effectively. We've got some money in reserve to do that.
Mhm.
Happy, did a lot of sidewalks. Back when he did. Like he
Yeah.
redid them and poured them all himself.
So I guess, you know, we gotta, maybe today in the next month's agenda, if we gotta do it for next referendum and get a sidewalk budget together, John, you know, once next month we can go around and figure out, you know, how many.
60 road right there, that's pretty bad,
Select a couple areas.
pretty bad right there, but,
We're gonna put-
Tax it on next year, you tax some more, and, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay,
Yeah, if that doesn't burn it up, and we're gonna do a permissive referendum for the money to buy a machine, and, you know, if we're not, if it's all allocated in sidewalk and we're primarily buying a machine, buy all sidewalks. Should be easy, we budgeted for it.
we should use that.
all right, it's time to pay the bills.
Okay.
Names 1 through 145, totaling 98,727.40. General fund 61,878.22, water 3,871.27, and wastewater 32,977.81.
Motion,
How should we pay the bills?
second,
Seconds.
all in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carried. Okay, we're to other business and I think we have to, we're gonna, tonight, we have an executive session. And just want to, for personnel and possible litigation. And I think we need a motion to go in and motion to come back and, at the end, so.
Motion, we go into executive session.
second.
You're done. All in favor? All right, and that'll be just trustees and lawyer, okay? Thank you for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for your service,
Good one.
taking the time to do this, every one good for us.
Huh? What is the food? I'll go on over and. Go on over and order. Burger's fine.
Do you guys want this off and then you can restart it, or do you just wanna say forget it? You don't have to.
We gotta go back on it.
Do we have to come back up?
No.
We don't.
Gonna take any.
Yeah, do you wanna just say you're not gonna take any action?
No, I have no.
Right, yeah, so I move we adjourn the public portion of the village board meeting for January 26th
I second.
and retire to executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. All right.